It's obviously fresh.
The podcast where hip hop and politics connect.
Yeah.
Is the new norm that you come 5 minutes late to all of our sessions?
It's 3 minutes, you fucker.
Let me tell you something. We got a very fancy guest, and the very fancy guest is sitting alone in his closet. And what are you doing? Making a drink?
No, I was about to get my GT's kombucha, actually. I was going to ask for like 5 minutes so I could get a GT's. Well, not 5 minutes, 5 seconds so I could run
Get a
into
shipment
GT's.
today?
I got a big old shipment of
too.
GT's.
I got a shipment.
Like, I got a real shipment. Not that,
like a
you know,
pallet.
we're interested, yeah. Not that we're interested in advertising in your, on your podcast shipment. I got that, you got to talk about us every time you start this podcast shipment. So I got that big ass kombucha shipment.
Sorry,
I've
got your line.
Through 2 of them bad boys. He said I could drink 3 a day.
Donald, we were on a call. GT's Kombucha has become a sponsor of the show, and we are on a call with them. And Donald and I genuinely drink it, so it was a no-brainer. And Donald's like, let me ask you something. Since we have the inventor of this on the phone, how many do you recommend I can have a day? And the guy's like, well, I think 3 is probably the max you want to have a day. And Donald's like, okay, good. So you might want to pace, bro.
They're gonna be gone soon, man. They're gonna be gone.
Listen, let's
me,
talk.
My wife, my kids. Oh, it's a wrap.
We have first of all, this episode is fucking hilarious.
Very funny episode.
I laughed so many times, and I was on a text with Donald Enfield before this and about something, and I was like, this episode 120 is one of the funniest in season 1.
Yeah, easy.
And you're a very handsome guest. Are you nervous? I put on a nice sweatshirt for him.
No, I'm not nervous. He and I have worked a lot together, actually. We did Felicity together, before Scrubs, and then after Scrubs, we did a little movie called Let's Kill Ward's Wife together, and I played Ward, and he directed. And so,
Well, I get nervous every time I see Scott Foley.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a straight man for the most part, but there are certain men that I get a little shy in front of, and Scott Foley is one of them.
Really?
I don't want to play hide the peep with him, but I get a little jittery.
Would you play tip to tip?
I don't want to touch tips. I just listen. I am secure enough in my sexuality to be able to say that I get a flutter.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to go tip to tip with Scott Foley, but I do think he's very dreamy to look at, and I also really like his Should we invite him in?
Yeah, why not?
I'm excited. Dan, bring him in. Dan, allow him in. Oh,
Hey,
my goodness.
Look
Gentlemen.
at that handsome
We
man.
were just talking about you.
You were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donald was saying that you guys have worked on several projects together, not
All right,
just...
wait. Before we get into this,
What?
let's make sure he's recording.
Are you
this stuff.
recording,
We
Scott Foley?
I think I'm recording on here, right? The phone?
Yes. Good,
Yes.
Good. Many a guest
I got
put
it.
this up, Scott Foley, but there's something that tells me that you're going to do it right.
Oh, I'll
You look
fuck it
so
up.
handsome. Look at him. Look at him.
I was going to wait.
Buff in his closet and everything.
I was going to wait a beat to tell him he was handsome, Donald. You went right for it.
Can I
he
tell you,
does,
this
it's
is the... I watched the episode not that long ago. I've watched it a couple times since we talked about me being on this. And this is the first time my hair has been the same length as it was during that episode. And I have the pandemic to thank.
Scott, you got an intro. I don't think another man in 9 years got the intro that we normally reserve for the beautiful woman walking in with the slow motion and the fan and literally angels going, oh!
It was a bit much, and I was a little overwhelmed, and I think you can tell that in my performance.
It was hilarious, though.
And eating Jello.
Eating
Everybody knows.
Jell-O.
Eating Jello
That topped
seductively.
it off.
I mean, I remember them coming to me saying, like, what do you want to eat? I was like, it's a hospital, right? And they're like, Jell-O it is.
By the way, Sarah's character is so brandy for you. I had forgotten, we obviously, Scott, we go back, we haven't seen these in 20 years, and so it's fun for Donald and I because even though we're the stars of the show, we're watching it like anew, being like, oh, that's a funny episode. And I had totally forgotten how, in this episode, Sarah is like really horny, frankly, and riled up. Like she
literally says, if I don't sleep with him, I'm going to kill myself.
Right. And then she said she'd suck on his foot or something.
And then he's like, what? I'd suck on your foot.
They went to a lot of lengths with this, between the sucking on the foot, talking about needing to sleep with me, begging me to ask her out, dropping stuff and doing bizarre contortions, which, by the way, works for anybody out there.
No, it was really funny though, because it's not something you often see on a show. Like you always see like the man being like neurotic and frantic. How do I get her? And I'm so attracted to her. I'm so horny, you know. And I thought this was funny that Sarah. First of all, Sarah was very funny doing it, but she's so on a mission to get laid.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I had so many thoughts watching this. Sorry, you're going to see my lights go on. Nobody can see that. I'm in a closet where it's got one of those automatic lights. You walk in and it turns on. And if I'm sitting here and not moving, then it's going to go dark.
That's the kind of fancy house that Scott Foley has, everyone. He has a light that turns on with his motion.
Some people have the clapper. Some people have light switches. Scott Foley has movement.
Listen, one day, if you have the level of success of legendary actor Scott Foley, you could get one of these motion lights in your closet.
I think all of your closets have that. No, I was so impressed. First of all, what a time capsule these things are, right? Mm-hmm. Like, not just the references, but everything you see. Like, the TV you guys are watching in the beginning is an old vacuum tube television.
Right.
You know, which you just don't see anymore. Plus, you guys are talking about watching Iron Chef, which somehow has stood the test of time. Because I think it's still on. I think they're still making new episodes.
You know, I think back then it was like Iron Chef was an import, and now it's domestic. You know what I mean?
I don't know that is there a domestic Iron Chef?
Yes, like Bobby Flay and all of that stuff on it and stuff. Yeah.
But it was also so impressive to me to see. You know, we're getting towards the end of the first season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And you guys have your characters dialed in at this point already. I've been on a bunch of television shows where it's not until like end of season 3 where people are like, oh, I know who this guy is.
Right.
But you guys are dialed in to a person, like from Kelso to Cox to you guys to Sarah. It's amazing, and being able to jump into that. You know, it was such an interesting character that I got to play here, but you're right, watching Sarah and that character totally go for it was such an interesting thing, because you always see it from the other side, don't you?
Yeah, and she's really fucking funny. I mean, we say this is our 20th episode of this Scott Foley. Believe it or not, it's become a hit, and we can't believe it ourselves. But this is our 20th one, and we've said it a bunch of times, but Sarah Chalk is so fucking funny. I mean, this episode in particular, she is so fucking funny in this episode.
She's so talented. She's so beautiful. She's so good at what she does, and she goes for it, man. And that's what I appreciated most about the show, is that, you know, there are things that you would read on the page and think like, oh, how am I going to do that? And everybody, to a person, goes for it. And I think that's what really made this show successful, and what makes it stand the test of time, even though we're still looking at old TV sets.
It's so good.
Well, speaking of successful...
We have a lot to talk about, Donald, but I think we should sing first. And Scott just...
I was about to say, speaking of successful, let's get into that successful theme song.
All right,
5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, you want Scott Foley to do it?
No, I like it.
No, turn off the song. I would like Scott Foley to count us in. Okay. Scott has got it.
Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Stories about a show we made. About a bunch of docs and nurses and a janitor who loved to hate. I said, here's the stories that you all should know. So gather round to hear our, Scrubs Rewatch Show with Zach and Donald.
That's the first time in podcast history we've stopped the opening theme song. And I'm sorry, Donald. I didn't mean to question your right.
No.
It's just
You're
that
excited
Scott's
about
a
it,
VIP guest, and I felt like give him the honor.
He was
So
really
good.
excited to go for it.
I'm not at all hurt in any way.
No,
I
it's,
don't
you know,
feel
we are
slighted in any way.
partners in this, and I don't want you to ever think I would ever question when it's time to sing the song.
It was
Guys,
time
your
to sing
harmony.
the song.
Your harmony with that song is something that my wife and I have had conversations about.
We go for it. We go for
It's
the harmony.
really good.
No,
Yeah,
listen,
yeah.
Scott. When we made the song, we were like, okay, but I was like, well, how do we do it now? How do we, we made the song, but how are we? We're both going to sing all the lyrics, and Donald's like, don't worry, I got this, and he like came up with all those harmonies.
I was like, Zach was like, I'll just send you I'll send you my verse. I'll sing the whole song and I'll send it to you. And you just sing, because originally we were going to do it where we split up the
words, yeah.
Right. And he was like, I'll sing the whole thing, and you just pick where you want to sing, and we'll have Charlie cut us in. And I heard him sing, and I was like, I think it sounds amazing. The only way that this is going to work is if I just back him up with some harmony.
If I sing the whole thing too.
Right.
Exactly. This is good, but you know what's gonna make it better? If I do really showy harmonies over all of this.
Well, it works, and we are fans, so good job.
Right on.
Oh,
right
thank
on.
you.
Right on.
Right, of course. Donald, I think we should go back to.
I was going to say that. Let's
all
go.
right, go to Scott's career. Let me do a little. We like to go back a little bit. Scott, the first time I remember hearing about you was on a very, very successful show. Solely successful because of Donald Faison, but I believe you were on it too. It was called Felicity.
That's correct. Donald and I met for the first time on Felicity, and I remember being like, holy shit, the clueless guy's here.
That's what happens every time he walks into a restaurant.
Of course. But I also, I mean, Donald was great on that, and you were going through this phase where you were trying to be ripped. I remember, I think the first table read you came in, you were carrying like a 3-gallon jerry can of water.
Yeah, it was huge.
Crazy the amount of water you would drink every day, and you were shredded. And we'd play basketball in the parking lot out there. And actually, I remember, I think you've been on the show off and on for a season or two, maybe 3.
I did 3 seasons with you guys.
Before Scrubs came around, right?
Yeah.
And I remember talking to you. You had done the pilot, and you were telling me about it. And you said, I don't know, man, it's really funny. It's from this young writer. He did Spin City. And we got a good group, and I saw the pilot, and it's really funny. I think it's going to take off. And I was like, yeah, good for you. Let's keep playing basketball.
Yeah,
sure.
And nine seasons later.
Yeah, we had a lot of conversations just about work back then also. You know, I don't know how new you were to the game, but you had been working. You had done Felicity, you had done Scream 2, or was it 3?
Yeah, Scream 3. Before Felicity, I'd done Dawson's Creek, which was sort of my introduction to the what back then was the WB, the now defunct WB world. Which
was
really
Felicity your first big leading part?
Felicity was my first big leading part. Yeah, and you know it was really the springboard that, and I'm so grateful for it that allowed me to be a part of your show and sort of everything that's come since.
And when are you guys still friendly? The three of you, the love triangle.
We're not friendly.
You don't like, Donald, you know, I mean, Donald, where you're not like having him over and putting his kids in a bouncing castle.
No, we're not like that. But we got together last year it was the 20th reunion of Felicity, which was amazing. And we got so many people together. We went to the ATX, the Austin Television Festival, and I think they screened an episode, and we all sat on stage where a bunch of people asked us questions. There was a moderator, and it was really great. It was the first time we'd all been together in, 17, 18 years. Yeah, it was really, really fun, man. And I, I'd always said, I don't think, they talk about doing reboots. And I'd always said, I don't think we can do a reboot of Felicity because it was so specific to not just that time in a person's life when we were all so much younger, but to that period of the world, of our existence. And I sort of changed my mind after being with them because I just missed them all so much, and I remembered the feelings that I had, both good and bad, and I sort of yearned for them. So
Well, are you here? I think we have an exclusive right here on the Fake Doctor's Real Friend. Scott Foley is willing to do a Felicity reboot, everybody.
That'd be
come
interesting.
around again. It wouldn't be a no.
Could Donald be on it too? I would only support it if
Well,
Donald's
my character lives, so it's a possibility.
All right, good. I only support it if you get to go back on.
It would be very interesting to see if everybody is still friendly from the cast in the show. You know what I mean? Like, you guys were in college together, and you guys all lived together, kind of, sort of, and you guys all dated each other, but it was college, and usually, I didn't go to college, but I don't have a lot of friends from my, early, that I still hang out with, from my early 20s that I still hang out with. So it'd be really interesting to see what happened after you guys all left NYU.
I remember when there was a controversy when Carrie Russell cut her hair. Like, people lost their minds, right?
Yeah, that was the thing, and that's.
I remember being like, I remember. I didn't watch the show, but I remember being like, are people really up in arms that Carrie Russell cut her hair?
People were up in arms, and it's to this day, I think, the thing that people talk about the most when they talk about the show. And the interesting thing is that it was scripted. Like, she cut her hair on the show, and somehow it gained traction as this urban legend that she did it on her own because she was angry or wanted to change or get away from the character. We cut it. You actually see it in season 2 of the show, her cutting her hair. And I thought she looked more beautiful with the short hair than she did with the long, but that's,
people just loved it. I'm just making up that people loved her hair so much that they were like, "How dare you?"
It was a
They
lot
loved
of
her
hair,
hair so
dude. It was a lot of hair.
But didn't she have, I'm assuming, as I recall, she had beautiful curly long hair, and people were like,
Beautiful.
"How dare you?"
Yeah,
I mean,
it,
enviable hair. Yeah.
yeah, it looked like she had been growing it since birth. That's how beautiful the hair was.
By the way,
It
Carrie
was
Russell was
amazing.
on our show. She was a love interest of mine.
Is that right? On Scrubs?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did a couple episodes just like, well, you did way more episodes. Your character tracked for,
Yeah. Well,
till
not,
the end.
don't
pretty
worry,
much.
Scott. You did way more. But
I
Joel,
just didn't know
Joel,
it.
will you do me a favor and look up how many she did? But
She did 2.
yeah. Oh, Donald, you know that.
Yeah, I
That's
remember.
cool.
So
No, she's talented and
And I
great.
think we
look,
kissed. I think on the show. I think we kissed.
I
We
would
might be lip
guarantee.
Scott.
I
We
would
might be-
guarantee that you remember whether you kissed or not.
No, I know. Trust me. I remember being very excited that she was a love interest, but JD didn't make out with all his love interests. Joelle will look it up for me. Did JD? But anyway, Scott, we might be lip cousins. Donald and I-
We're definitely wiener cousins.
We're definitely wiener cousins.
my
Donald and I
God.
were
Wait.
talking about touching tips just before you
Wait.
came on. But
Hello.
not in real life, Donald, with
Yeah,
Sarah
that's in the show.
character.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I hope that's the only crossover.
I don't think we had any real life crossover, Scott Fuller. And I hope not, because the woman would have clearly preferred you.
I don't know about that. Although, I'm
Scott
sort of the...
Foley, how dare you? You know how handsome you are.
Yeah, Scott
Just
Fuller.
Knock it
ask-
off, Faison.
Listen.
What's it
You
like
know.
to be handsome? Tell
Right.
Donald that.
You know, listen, I know that all of your supporters are out there right now. You probably bought, quite a few downloads to our podcast just from
Yes.
being on this
Yeah.
shit right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
All your Scandal crew, hey girls, how y'all doing? What's up, Scandal
take
crew?
I'll take that. That's
Listen,
very
the three of
flattering.
us have something else in common, and that is we've all had ABC cancel our shows in season 1.
Yes,
Brutal.
13 episodes. We
Brutal.
each got 13. We each
I
got
know.
13.
I only got 10. Scott, how many did you get?
We got 13, thank goodness. And a trip to Prague. That was
Right,
it.
right.
So for those of you who don't know, because I guess not enough of you knew, Scott.
Not enough
was-
watch.
Scott was on a huge budget action series that shot in Prague. He moved his whole family there, which is no small deal because you have 2 children, right?
I have 3 children. They were
Right,
all in
3.
school over there. Yeah.
And it was not by no means a simple show. I was going to direct it, but then I had a conflict. But it was a huge budget, epic sort of comedic James Bond action show that Bill Lawrence, 6 Degrees of Bill Lawrence, was the showrunner of. And I thought it was amazing. The pilot was unbelievable. I couldn't believe the scale of it. It looked like a giant feature.
Oh, thanks, man.
And you were so good in it. And but anyway, as I was preparing for today, I went, all 3 of us were stars of ABC, and then got a new ABC show that only went half a season.
Oh, man, it was just, and it's still heartbreaking. My wife and I had a conversation about it a couple nights ago where, she was like, oh, I wish we were still in Prague. We were so fortunate. And that's one of the great things about, and one of the reasons I'm so excited to talk to you guys today, because, Scrubs for me was, it started out as just a gig, right? Coming in, doing something fun, doing something different, and it has morphed into the relationships that I've made from it have sustained a lot of what I do, and it's made me happy. The people that I've gotten to work with and gone on to work with because of Scrubs have been great. And like you said, Bill Lawrence was the showrunner of Whiskey Cavalier, and we were over in Prague together, and without Scrubs that wouldn't have happened.
And I think you really showed that you were really funny, Scott. I mean,
Yeah, I was about to say.
I think that with your other shows that you've known for, whether it be Felicity or Scandal, obviously people know you as a great comedic actor, but I think on Scrubs, Bill really gave you a chance to be hilarious. One of my favorite moments of Sean's character was in the script. I say this to Scott all the time, and Joel all the time, that it literally said in the script, Sean forlornly rides a dolphin. And then when I saw the shot of you forlornly riding a dolphin, I thought, he fucking nailed that. He really,
Maybe the best screen direction of my career.
that's how I would sum up that shot, is Sean forlornly rides a dolphin.
Oh, thanks, man.
Well,
Thanks.
I will
Yeah, look.
Before I will say this though, I knew you were funny from when we did Felicity together, when Noel went off the rails and went a little batshit crazy, and you got to explore this character who was kind of by the book and did everything by the book, refined himself. And I remember doing a bunch of episodes where they were looking for you, and we finally found you, and you were completely out there. And I remember not being able to hold it together when we were doing the tapes because you were so funny. So I knew you were funny way before you came on stage.
Oh, thanks, man. I think Zach, you overstate my talent by saying I'm a great dramatic actor. I think I'm passable. But Donald, that was a bizarre like season 3 tangent where my character Noel decided to change his name to Leon, literally just reverse the letters in his name. they put like a weird wig on me, so I had like blonde tips on my hair. It was the strangest thing, but thank you, Donald. That was, at least a little chance for me to stretch myself in that character.
Now, did J.J. Abrams run all the seasons?
Every season. Yes, every season. He was gone a little bit on season 4, on our final season, because he had started a show called Alias, and so was sort of doing his time between both sets. But he was there the whole time. I was really fortunate. Obviously no one knew that J.J. Abrams would become J.J. Abrams back then.
No,
in
do
the
you
late
like
90s.
do you like Donald occasionally put it out there that you're open to being in the Star Wars franchises?
But just
Can I tell you? It's been the like if I was ever insecure
what's
about
his name?
anything.
Greg Grunberg, he keeps getting all the love. I mean, where the fuck's happening
Well,
with Donald and Scott Foley?
Grunberg and J.J. Abrams have been friends since they were 3 years old. Like, they were best friends in elementary school. They made, crappy movies together on their Super 8 film cameras when they were kids. So they were best man at each other's weddings. Look, I think J.J. knows, just by the fact that I'm an actor, that I would like to be in Star Wars.
You gotta be more direct, Scott. Donald's very direct about it.
But I would, of course, I would love to. And I've, every time he signs on to direct a new one, I send him a text like, wow, way to go. You're not going to see your family for a while. Might want some friends around. So I'm not sure how to take it that he hasn't cast me in, you always, there's the old story that someone likes working with you if they hire you again and again and again. And I've been fortunate with Bill that's happened multiple times. JJ, not so much.
not so
We'll see
much,
why.
right?
Well, it's funny.
We all need Bill to direct a giant tentpole movie. I mean, what's going on, Bill? Step it
Well,
up.
do you remember he was going to do Fletch? He wrote a great script for Fletch, and I went and I met with him, I read with him, and there was a whole long Miramax story that goes with it. But he was on his way, man. I thought he would have been great at that.
I know, we really need him. I don't think he is interested. He loves TV so much, but I think for all of us, we would like Bill to become a studio tentpole filmmaker, if he doesn't mind.
Just
Are they
cast
making
us
movies
in.
anymore?
They do. There's a couple coming out.
Yeah.
They're saying July. They're saying like the end of July things are gonna pick
They're
up.
saying that Chris Nolan movie is coming out no matter what. Tenet. And,
Oh, really?
Right? That's what I've been hearing. And then, maybe they'll change their mind. But I read something on the interwebs that said they're still saying July, which assumes that people are going to be willing to go to the theater in July. I don't know. It seems pretty ballsy to release like a $200 million movie. I don't know if that's fine, but all
I
these
think so.
giant movies for that for July.
But some things are filming already, like they're filming in certain areas.
Joel
now.
just said $205 million.
Jeez.
And July 17th is coming up. $205 million. That's going to be interesting to see how you spend $205 million.
Well, I would think, wouldn't you have to double the amount of theaters because the theaters are only going to be at half capacity just because of social distancing in order to, there just aren't enough theaters out there to make the money back.
205 is the production budget, so they're going to put like $100 million into releasing it. That is that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. But then you ask yourself, how much did it cost to make Endgame and all of those things? Those things look like it cost $500 million.
No, but look, you've got a built-in Marvel audience. This movie has no mega celebrities in it. I don't
Yeah, but
know.
it's Nolan, man. I mean,
No, I know. Chris Nolan is his own enterprise. Don't get me wrong. I get it. But it's got to be the most amount of money spent on an original script. Wow.
356 million on
giving
Ingo.
me- Scott, you're not supposed to read the producer notes. Sorry, Terry. This is
Well, go
the
ahead.
second time it's
5,
happened.
6,
Sarah
7,
Shaw
8.
did the same thing. Sarah did the same thing. Scott, Donald and I are the hosts of the show. You, as a guest, ignore my producer's notes.
Well, no, you know what I was doing was pretending that I actually knew the budget.
Sarah, we had Sarah on, and Joelle was like, Joelle always gives us little things to help the conversation along, and Sarah just starts reading them. Like, Sarah, that is not for the guests.
The fact that you needed little things to help the conversation along with Sarah, who you
Well-
worked with for 10 years, is amazing.
No, but I said, Sarah, what happens if Joelle's writing like, this is so boring, help her along, Like, don't read those.
Okay, so I'm going to put a piece of tape above my
No,
I'm kidding. Joelle wouldn't write. Joelle would never write Scott Foley is so boring.
She wouldn't be the first one.
Anyway, all I was saying was that Chris Nolan, I get, is his own entity, and I get that everyone is going to see this movie because he's a fucking genius. But I wonder if it's the most amount of money ever spent on a piece of material that isn't an already established piece of intellectual property, like Marvel or James Bond or the like. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. That's a lot of money to have to spend on something and it not work,
Yeah, I mean, just the amount of money it has to make in order for it to be successful is just, and especially with what Scott's saying is that the talk is that the theaters are only going to be half full, so you can have no distance from each other. So then you need double the amount of screenings.
You know what's
I don't know how that's going to work.
What would be really interesting is, okay, so Trolls World Tour was supposed to come out in theaters, and it didn't make it to theaters because of the whole COVID thing, right? So they released it on the digital platform, but you had to rent it. You couldn't buy it. You could only rent it, and your rental lasts for about, 24 hours. I wonder how much money Trolls World Tour made, because the model is there to put movies out. Well, at least right now, if you really want to watch and they haven't really experimented with like big blockbuster movies, but if you really want to watch a movie, it's fine to watch it at home. I understand they need movie theater money because popcorn, all that theaters and everything. But I wonder what Trolls World Tour is doing for Joel.
Alright, how are you?
Yeah, can't complain. Had all the boards out to collect or to look at them and check them. Supposed to be going to get a boat, but that didn't come off. So yeah, you been on the water all day or just a little bit?
I just came out. I'm just testing this thing out.
Look at the harbour.
But you know what? It's really, the shots are really shaky, and of course my arm keeps going in front of it, so it's not actually that good. Like if I do like a time lapse, it's just going to shake all the time.
Oh no.
So,
You got to try these things, I guess.
yeah. I don't know if I'll actually do anything with this, but if I do, I might just clip it up and,
Yeah. It's a shame, isn't it?
I don't know.
I guess that's the difficult thing, is like where do you actually put it, like to get a decent shot?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we're going to need a longer strap.
I'm going to stop recording now.
spending $20 on this? Yeah? All right. No, because like several times. Yeah, so think how much money you've gotten off the phase on because you guys are renting it multiple times.
But it costs more if we went to the movie theater, though, because it would be
Yes.
$20 each person.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
I don't know if they get I would say, I wonder if that's $77 million is a lot of money to make one line.
That's a new model that you bought. Right. That's what people are doing. Is your wife more hardcore than you about this? Because Don was definitely more hardcore than his wife. No, my wife is anxiety-ridden about everything. She is terrified, not just that we're going to get it, but that we're all going to die from it when we get it.
None of us have pre-existing conditions. She has made 500 masks and donated them and given them to friends. She is all over this. And I think crazy.
My wife doesn't like it. Maybe start off like this. Maybe we'll see about it. When May come around, I'm like, maybe. I'm like, you're in here, motherfucker. July comes around. I promise you that we're gonna scope out the situation, and if it's all good, then we can go outside.
Well, Donald and I got invited to go on this really popular show called Good Mythical, and it's a hugely successful show. They do it in a normal time. They do it every morning, and we got an invite to do it at the end of July, and I was like, hey, like, and you have to go in person. They're not doing it on Zoom. I was like, yeah, we were just talking about this before the show. Like, end of July, we could probably do that, right? And we don't know. I mean, we're both having the conversation, but in our heads, it's like, are we going to be going to do a talk show at the end of July? Does that seem like, are we going to wear masks? Like, I don't understand how it's going to work.
How does that work? There's a lot of talking face to face.
I mean, everybody's got an opinion. Mine is, I think it's going to be okay. You know, at a certain point, don't you? Doesn't life have to go on? I mean, it does.
Yeah, I know, but choosing, life will go on, but choosing to go into, like, make your choices that are like, I'm going to go sit in a movie theater with a bunch of people that like coffee, or I'm going to go into a tight elevator or a restaurant. I mean, those choices, I don't know. I might hold off on those. We got to go to a break, because that's what we have to do, because this is a real show that has breaks and ads and shit, Scott Foley. This isn't like some bullshit show. This is a show with ad breaks.
You guys have supporters now. Yes.
Yeah, we have real fancy ones too. And here's some of them on. Right.
Show with Zach and Donald.
And we're back. Donald and I hold off to see who's going to do it. We're like, we're back.
You you guys don't enjoy this.
Because of the delay, nothing we ever do is in sync. So we sometimes ask Dan in post to make it seem like we know how to sing at the same time.
Can you guys give me a minute to run and grab my notes? And
yeah, but don't take a deuce. We got Scott Foley here.
Scott Foley, I would never deuce on your time.
Okay.
His minute is the equivalent of him learning his lines on Scrubs.
I'm glad you know. We've talked a lot about this. Will you please say that when he comes back?
Or not learning his lines, I should say. No, he's gone away some.
He claims he's turned over a new leaf, but I think that's just because he's worried that potential directors and showrunners might be listening to the podcast and won't hire him. So he has this whole thing where he says that he's turned over a new leaf and now he learns his lines.
Well, how? It's a pandemic. That's his new leaf. There's nothing to learn.
I know. He also said he quit weed, but I think that I will ask him if that's the last. Why is your wife's Instagram handle the mean chick? She seems like such a nice person.
Does she?
Well, I don't know her that well, but every time I've hung out with her, she seems delightful.
She is delightful. She's Polish, and her last name is Dominchik, or Dominchik, which sounds like the mean chick. So every time someone has a hard time pronouncing her name, she just says it sounds like the mean chick. So that's it.
Oh, I thought it was like a thing like, look, you might think I'm nice, but I'm a bitch. I'm the
No. She's an asshole, but God, I love her.
And she had a good part on your show too, didn't she?
Yeah,
She
man,
did
that
an arc or
was
something. I forgot. Did she have a recurring or something?
she had a recurring role, and that was sort of one of the caveats I had when I was talking about shooting the show in Prague. You know, I was like, you guys want me to move over to Prague for a year, and I got a wife who's a working actress. I got three kids that I'm going to put in school. Like, I can't ask her to stop. And Bill was like, she could be on the show.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Bill's a good salesman. He's like, I just discovered who our new recurring role is.
Yeah, you know, but it was a smart move on his part and ours actually. You know, shooting over in Prague was obviously much better for the budget. The tax breaks and the cost of doing business over there is substantially lower. So
and just the production value. You know, there's a shot in the pilot. By the way, if you haven't seen the show, go see it. Even if you just watch the pilot, because you'll be impressed by the scope of the damn thing. I just couldn't. I thought the pilot was really well done, and I was gonna go direct one. I was sort of intimidated. I was like, how many days do you get to shoot these episodes? Because it was just
we were so excited to have you over there, man. We were so bummed when it fell through, and I know you got a big big gig.
I got a part in a good role in a movie with Christopher Walken, and my actor crush heart didn't say no to that. As much as I wanted to come to Prague and boss Scott Folger around.
Well, we missed having you.
Well, we'll have to do it again.
You would have saved the show.
I know. See, that episode would have been the thing. No, but I can't wait to work with you again because I think you're fantastic. Donald,
Dude,
Scott
you're so amazing in this episode, man.
Yeah, let's get into the episode. Let's get into the episode. It's a very good episode. You know, Adam Bernstein directed it, who directed our pilot. We told you, and he's a very, very funny, talented guy.
Eric Weinberg.
Very funny writer.
Eric Weinberg. I played tennis with him after this episode.
You're a good tennis player. Isn't that a bit of trivia about you?
That is a bit of trivia about me. I can hold my own. I'm not great, but I can hold my own.
That's what people who are really good say, to be honest. You're really good, I think. Can you beat Bill?
No.
Yeah, Bill's really good.
Bill's really good. Although these days, I don't know. He's gotten older.
Bill, Bill and I, we don't play together because it's just not fun for either one of us. But we often hit. We vacation together, and we would like each hit with a pro on separate courts because I just can get by, but I love it. And Bill is like, played college, is really good. But he would play these young pros and try his ass off to, but he would keep up with them. I mean, he was impressive.
Yeah, no, he's good. He and I have gone out to hit a few times, and we have a tennis pro guy named Christian Catholic who was a pro for a while and sort of hits with a bunch of people around town, and we both play with him. But Bill's very talented. As, by the way, getting back to the episode, was Mr. Weinberg. He's a very good tennis player.
I got to say that what I want to start to say is that, we're watching these episodes, Scott, and some of them are great, and some of them are just okay, as happens when you make 182 episodes or something.
Sure.
I have to say, this one is particularly really fucking funny.
I laughed out loud quite a few times.
I laughed out loud a bunch. Not only you have Scott's whole and Sarah's arc, which is hilarious, but the janitor fucking with me and telling all my patients to get surgery is so funny. And Donald,
he talks to everybody.
I know.
He talks to everybody.
In
this episode, he talks to everybody.
I know. Bill, as you know, Bill has held on to this lore that in season 1, the janitor only spoke to JD, and he was debating whether, as we went forward, if the janitor would just be a figment of JD's imagination.
Well, I think this is where it went off the window.
Yeah, I think episode 120, he must have been like, fuck it, because the janitor talks to everybody.
The janitor's real.
He's giving advice. He's giving medical advice to people. Yeah.
That was really funny. Let's get into it. I'm your biatch. Very funny.
This is the beginning. Well, not the beginning of Scrubs being a musical because we had Judy and Sam together. But this is the beginning of big musical productions, though, and stuff. We're all dancing in the hallway, singing on a made-up fire escape.
Yeah, this is our homage to West Side Story. And we totally didn't have the rights because we're very truly tiptoeing around being a West Side Story spoof, but it is a West Side Story spoof.
I loved it. I loved the musical theater references. I thought, you know, I was sitting there watching this, trying to think of the sort of the theme, and you know, they talk about competition, but whether it's you, JD and Turk, or Cox and Kelso, like it's not necessarily competition, but there's a power struggle happening here with all these characters, which is really interesting to watch. And I thought we're not obviously not there yet, but I thought the resolution, especially when it came to you guys' storyline, was a great one.
Yeah, it is about. It's about. I guess that's the theme in the two main story. I mean, not the main Sarah one, but the Cox Kelso one and the New Donald is competing with your peers. And you're right. It is the first time we get into all these games that Donald and I would play over the years. These stupid little challenges. You know, what was the one with hide the saltine. And all the many things, but this is the first one.
Toe or finger.
Yeah.
And they're all named in a very Bill Lawrence way. You know, like steak is just called steak.
Yeah.
Like it's just like steak. And but even what Cox calls the nurse, coffee nurse. Like it's so simple the way Bill named things, and it's hilarious.
By the way, a little bit of trivia: Coffee Nurse. I don't know if you know this. Is Matt Tarsus's beautiful wife, Katie Tarsus. Matt,
I did not know that.
I did not know.
You know Matt Tarsus, Scott Foley?
Yeah, I know Matt, but I didn't know that was his wife.
Matt Tarsus was one of our great writers on Scrubs, and he created, along with me, our ABC show, The New York Alexander. And he's a great human being and has a beautiful wife. And I stopped and I was like, that's Katie Tarsus playing Coffee Nurse. He was great. And I texted him and I said, your wife is so beautiful in this episode. And he said, yes. And I said, I'm like,
okay, bye.
Never mind.
That's enough.
Yeah.
That is enough.
What do you got, John? You got anything else you want to talk
Mr.
about?
Huffner.
This dude is fucking hilarious.
What's the name of the gentleman who played Mr.
Fred
Huffner?
Stoller is his name.
So
Now,
good.
This guy, I got to tell you, if you are a director or a filmmaker or a showrunner, you need to hire this guy because every sentence he said, I laughed
Out loud. I remember laughing when we were making the show at him doing the lines in the chicken.
Yeah,
That shit had me going for days.
He takes the funniest stutter, and I tried to write it down because the word, what he's trying to say is, no, you said chicken. But what it comes out is he goes, no, you chicken. And like, you can't write that in a script. That's just an actor coming up with something funny. It was hilarious.
He's been around for years. He's that character actor guy who just pops up and he slays every time you see him. He's got such a dry sense of humor that is innately watchable.
There's this type of really funny actor who often comes character that like Fred that Bill would hire a lot of them on the show. And he jokingly called him his assassin. And Bob Clendenin was another one. And they would just come on and they would have like a few lines, but everything they said was funny. And I just want to say to Fred and anyone who knows Fred, every single thing he said on this episode made us laugh.
Yeah, he came back too later on, not seasons later actually.
Is this anyone's paddle?
He would be somebody who would come back into the hospital over and over again.
I think when this episode was done, I remember telling Bill, like, you gotta have that guy back.
You gotta have
I just found it floating over there just randomly.
He was really funny.
Yeah, I agree.
on the treadmill.
Oh God.
One, you look great. You got that young body.
Yeah, I'm wondering if someone might be looking for it. Sorry.
You know what I mean? Where they're like,
Thank you.
Your shoulders are like so
No idea who it is,
You
but
know what I'm talking about when you're like a baby.
I know what
and then all
you're
of a sudden
talking
you start growing lats and shit. Anyway, then making that. The fall, was that you? Or was that
Same question.
cheers.
The fall was me. I was terrified about this. This was the scene in the script that had me the most nervous, and for ridiculous reasons. Like, there is something about watching people run on screen that you can look, the gait, your gait, you can look like an idiot or you can look okay. You know, like if you see people run on screen, you're like, that's a weird run. And it's quick and easy to judge. So I was very nervous about that. But I also felt that here's a plug for me to be a writer, but I felt that the scene needed like a button at the end. It didn't come together quite right. And I remember the first time I thought about doing it, and in the scene, halfway through the first take, I decided to do it. And everyone flipped out. Like, we didn't even, like, they're like, are you okay? Oh my God, what happened? Guys, can we get a medic in here? Something? I was like, no. It was a bit. It was a bit, guys.
That's pretty courageous of you to do a unscheduled, almost crash fall on a treadmill running. That's advanced, Scott.
Thank you, my friend. Well, I pride myself on physical comedy, although I never get to do it. My wife is, aside from at home, and my wife is sick of it. But it was, unfortunately, they liked it after they calmed down, and I had to do it, 7 more times.
Right. Well, good thing you survived. I liked it because you were such a good yin-yang for Sarah, because you're both sort of goofy and nervous and neurotic, and it was just so, she's doing all this ridiculous stuff, and you're seemingly holding it together, and then she looks away and you trip on the treadmill. That was really good.
Thanks, man. It was, finding, it's always a hard thing when you first come onto a show, even though you guys were in your first season, this is the 20th episode, so to try to establish a character amongst all these other characters is a really hard thing to do, and Sarah and I talked about it a bit, and I think what we came up with for Sean and worked ultimately. He got a little more confident as the show went on and his episodes got there, but it was fun playing this sort of nervous, neurotic, somewhat insecure kid. It was really interesting.
Yeah, your character arc throughout the show it's very interesting, because you do start off, you and Sarah are pretty much the same character. You're just a male version of her, and then all of a sudden you develop this confidence, right? And then you lose this confidence all of a sudden when she breaks up with you out of nowhere. When you grow the beard and
he forlornly rides a dolphin.
They had me doing some strange things, which I hope we get to talk about in future episodes. Look, here I am inviting myself over.
No,
Scott, I get a fat suit.
Absolutely, Scott. You are so good for our rating that we are going to have you back. I hope you'll come back on episodes you have nothing to do with.
I would love to, just to make fun of people.
No, we're already inviting you back because we have to talk about SeaWorld. I would like to say that I no longer support SeaWorld, but at the time we were happy to go to SeaWorld.
I remember being so pissed off because I couldn't go. None of my scenes were at SeaWorld. I was like, let me get this straight. Y'all are all going to San Diego to hang out for a night in San Diego and ride dolphins, and I got to stay back at the motherfucking hospital? I was so pissed off.
It was so fun, but this was all before we all saw the documentary Blackfish. And
yes, and now we don't go there anymore.
And now we encourage people to not go there anymore. But before we were all
before we knew,
before
we were animal woke.
And Scott, you did get to forlornly ride a dolphin, which is one of the coolest things anyone could ever do in their career.
The things that I got to do on this show were still some of the highlights of my career. I mean, between riding on the dolphin, doing this Betty the Seal bit, I don't know if you remember this, but I had like a phone call with Sarah, and I turn my head and the seal turns his head towards me and I look away, like it sticks its tongue out at me.
Yeah.
I got to be like damn close to a killer whale and a beluga whale, and it was a really amazing experience, and I'll never forget it.
Think how sad that whale was, Scott, while you were out there.
I had no idea. It didn't let on.
Oh my God. We're going to get mail for that one.
Scott,
We're going to get mail for that one.
Scott's like, I had no idea. I did not know.
It didn't say a damn thing. I would have had it back.
Listen, we're trying to buy it back with some karma now by saying don't support it any longer. So there you go. All right, let's talk about when he goes. I love when he goes. What are you 8-11 with Hofner? He goes, what are you serving for dinner tonight? And I go, that's not really my area. He goes, I'd like chicken.
That guy was great.
I'd like just chicken.
Chicken.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know where in the show that is, but I want to talk for a second about you two singing on the fire escape.
Yeah.
Which was, I loved it, and I love the musical theater references, and those are something that find a home throughout the life of this television show.
Yeah.
But the smile that you had on your face, Zach,
Yeah.
that you were unable to hide,
Yeah.
made me rewind it 2 or 3 times to be like, is he just smiling because he's singing, or
Scott,
no, he
Scott.
can't hold back his laughter.
Scott, I had a Phantom of the Opera beach towel hung on my wall as a child.
I'm very aware.
This was me living my best life.
It was your Seinfeld moment.
Someone
Your
was
Seinfeld moment, unable to hide your smile.
someone was paying me well to pull Donald and sing musical theater to him. I was like, how could life get better than this?
It was fantastic. And I appreciated you not being able to contain your
The
laughter.
show, getting a lead in a TV show was enough. Now you're letting me sing a love song to Donald on a fire escape? Come on.
Oh, it was great. And by the way you guys did the dancing in the hallway, everybody looked professional. Like
Well, they
Sarah
were.
was going for it.
Well, obviously everyone that wasn't a lead was
Yes,
a dancer,
right.
and
Right.
we rehearsed.
I'm
a
gonna
lot.
say
This
this
is the
is
first.
the best I've ever seen Sarah dance also, too.
Me
No,
too.
but Sarah can dance. Sarah can't sing, but she can dance.
Dude, she was on fire in this shit, dude. Like, I've seen Sarah dance, and Sarah dances like, Sarah dance. I'm not gonna
Well, she
respect
knows-
nobody.
no, she knows her
Sarah
little-
dances like she dances.
Well, she knows her. She has her little thing she does, which
Moves.
is adorable. But she was doing like full on, Broadway choreography.
Yeah, dude.
But
And
so
look
was
at
Rob
Rob
Maggio. So was Rob
Yeah, so is
Maggio.
Rob.
Yes, he was.
But Rob Maggio
Shallow.
did, I wonder if Rob Maggio ever did musical theater. I bet he did.
But we should have a section where we go to Rob.
This is a Bill Lawrence question.
No, we should go to Rob. And now we go to Rob.
No.
He's like a correspondent. Rob?
Yeah, going to Rob live. Rob is a very successful realtor now at the beach, Scott. I don't know if you know that. So when you're ready to buy your beach house, you better use Rob Maggio.
I'm not going to be ready to buy my beach house for a while,
Well,
but I'll use them when I do.
Yeah, I encourage anyone. We always like to give Rob shout-outs. You can get Rob on Cameo, and you can pay him a nominal fee to send you a video where he high-fives your friends. So go on Cameo and hire Rob Maggio. And of course, if you're looking for real estate on the west side of Los Angeles, we encourage you to
I'd like to go on Cameo and have him and pay him whatever it costs just to watch him run line.
By the way, Scott, I don't know, what's your birthday? I'm gonna send you a cameo from Rob.
Oh, that's great. July 15th is coming up.
Oh, it's coming up!
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I hope Rob will give it to me for free, but if not, I'm really...
No. Cameo makes you pay.
Okay.
Cameo makes you pay.
Donald, don't you think we should hire Rob to send Scott Foley a high five cameo?
I think that would be the best thing ever, and you have to share it too.
You can get really... My brother loves baseball more than anything, and they have like old school, they have sports players. Is that what you call them? Sports players? Sports people?
Sure. Athletes, yeah.
They have athletes, sports players. They have famous sports players, and some,
Ball and bad guys.
but some of them are like, I don't know if you like Lenny Dykstra. I don't know if you've heard Lenny Dykstra on Howard Stern lately, but he's gotten a little wacky. And I was thinking about getting Lenny Dykstra with my brother to like send him a message.
Are you guys on that? You do Cameo?
I'm not on there, but I occasionally scroll it because there's some people that I think would be very funny to hire for other people.
Yeah.
And so I thought about it, but like I saw Olivia Wilde. I follow on Instagram and I'm friends with her, and she loved that documentary Cheer. I don't know if it's like Cheer.
Yes, I loved it.
But one of her friends hired all the kids from Cheer are on there. Hired every single one of them to send her birthday messages, and so for her feed on her birthday was all the kids from Cheer sending her birthday messages. I thought that was
That's
so cool.
so cool. That's a great idea.
So there you go.
It's a good gift idea.
It's a great gift idea. There you go.
I agree.
I'm giving Cameo a shout out, although Donald and I are not on it.
Have you guys ever met anyone that's as competitive as these guys are on the show? That just you are competent. You think I'm that competitive?
No, not in life, but sports-wise you are.
When
you were playing basketball back in the day.
When it comes to playing sports against anyone, absolutely, regardless of what it is, I want to win. You're absolutely right.
By the way, I don't know if
But do
you
you
heard
know
Bill.
anybody in life that's like that, other than Bill Lawrence? I was going to say Bill Lawrence, but other than Bill Lawrence,
Bill's the most competitive person I know in the real life.
where it's like you don't walk faster than him,
Yeah.
or he's going to think it's a race.
Yeah. This is probably why it's in the script.
I have a funny Bill Lawrence walking story. We took a trip from Prague when we were shooting Mr. Cavalier over to Amsterdam. And if you guys have never been there, it's a huge bicycle culture, right? Everyone rides bikes around. So we're walking down the sidewalk, and wherever you are, you're inundated with these bicycle bells ringing, constantly telling you to get out of the way, and you don't know where they're coming from, and you're looking behind you, and you're always stepping off, trying to get out of the way. And we were walking down, and there was nobody around us. It had to be 2 in the morning. We'd just seen a Raiden concert in Amsterdam.
God, John Clayton gets a shout out every show.
Every episode.
Even the guests give Raiden shout out.
My wife was, Bill was like, we're going to go fly to Amsterdam and go see him, and he does this song, and my wife was like, oh my God, he has to sing Only You. So, of course, in the middle of the thing, he's like, and for Marika, I got to sing Only You. And she's like tearing up. I'm like, I think he's making fun of you, babe, and he doesn't want to sing the song. But we're walking back to the hotel, and there's, it's dead. It's 2 in the morning, and there are all these bikes parked along. Nobody's riding bikes, but they're all sort of chained up along the sidewalk. And we're walking. Bill's a couple steps ahead of me, and I ring one of these locked up bikes' bells. He damn near went to his knees. He was so afraid. He was such a PTSD thing. I've never seen Bill like, oh God! It's like I don't think he'll ever go back to Amsterdam because of it.
All right,
We went to Amsterdam together.
Yeah, Donald and I went to Amsterdam together.
Oh, that was dangerous.
Yeah.
Careful.
I don't know if we can tell any of those stories.
I don't think we can. I know they want to hear it.
We had fun.
We had some good times in Amsterdam. Did you guys have a good time in Amsterdam?
It was the best. The best.
Yeah.
Donald.
I mean, it wasn't like that kind of good time because I was with work people. But it was still that kind of good time.
Yeah.
We tried God's lettuce, and it was delicious.
Oh, Jesus. You didn't have one of those.
This was before God's lettuce. This was before God's lettuce was legal in California. We were,
oh, really?
Yeah. They really like it over there. Yeah.
No, we had it was a moon pie, or there's something like that over there that you eat and it just wrecks you.
I wish I mean,
Donald's like Googling moon pie.
I wish I would have known. No.
Guys, this is a real show now. We're not just 2 guys doing this out of their closets. We have to go to advertisers. We'll be right.
We'll be right back.
You ever listen to a rapper that you're rocking with and thought a bit about hip-hop is mixed with politics?
We made a podcast to delve into the topics with some rappers and activists from all across the continent.
Waiting on reparations, yeah, it's obviously fresh. It's a podcast where hip-hop and politics connect.
It's a little mix between culture, music, history, songs you should be listening, and topics we suggest.
Don't forget another dress when we talking with a guest.
Dope night.
Lingua franca, keep you rocking with the best. I've been marching in my camps and organizing my neighbors. Get my doctorate in French and literacy education.
I was battling my mama's kitchen, started winning competitions, rapper and producer.
I'm a rapper and a politician.
Beef and got smacked, now stop that debating.
Check the podcast, I Heart Reparations. Listen to Waiting on Reparations on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We're back. I'm looking at both Scott Foley and Donald Faison in their closets. Scott's has to continue to wave his arm to make his light go on. I wish we were recording the video of this because it would be the lights.
We'll start putting them out.
One day we're going to
make
put them
sound way
on YouTube. All right, bring them in, Joelle, and Dan, adjust the mic for Donald's Oprah introduction because you know it can get loud. Donald, please adjust your mic so we have.
Okay, I'll back up a little bit.
It's okay, he's ready. Here comes Jenny.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jenny Paulston!
I think it's Fuelston. Is it Fuelston, Jenny?
Yes, that's correct.
That's what I said!
Oh
Fuelston!
Hi, Jenny. Welcome to Fake Doctors, Real Friends. You picked a very good day to be on because we have a very funny and handsome guest named Scott Foley. You might know him from the show Scandal, Felicity, Whiskey Foxtrot, Scrubs,
Whiskey Cavalier.
Hi, Jenny.
Sorry, Scott.
Oh, hi, Scott.
Brutal.
Nice to see you.
Scott, do not flirt with Jenny, okay? This is our
Come on,
guest.
she's there, got all the flags behind her. She looks fantastic.
Jenny, where are you calling in from?
So I live in Canberra, Australia. Canberra is the capital city of my fine country.
On the west coast, yes, it is.
Scott showing off that he knows it's on the West Coast.
I lived in Australia, Jenny. I know what I'm talking about.
Wait, when did you live in Australia?
As a kid, I lived in Sydney for 4 years, in Snives, Sydney.
Wow.
Wow.
Is it near Perth?
No.
Okay.
No.
But it's near Melbourne.
No, well, Sydney's
Yeah.
near Melbourne, closer. But
No, it's on the
Yeah.
West Coast of Australia. This is so embarrassing.
Do you-
But I want everyone to know that the American public school system spends very little time on geography. I think it was like 2 weeks in 7th grade.
or Australia.
Yes. Yeah.
Jenny, thank you for coming on the show. Do you have a question for any of us? You can ask us anything. Ask us anything.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I started watching your show when I was in my early 20s, like you guys were, and it really resonated with me then. I just started my career. I had a mentor, learning to do things on your own without a safety net. And then I watched the series again a few years later when I had my children and they were babies and I was up in the night. I put it on and certain episodes resonated in a different way as a parent. And recently I did every school holiday and there's something new that pops up that's, based on an experience that I've just had. It just makes me think of, something different. So I just wanted to know, with your experience of the last 20 years, what advice would you give to your younger selves now?
Oh man, you mean us as real people or our characters?
Yeah, no,
Us as
you
real
as real
people.
people.
Oh, real people.
Yeah.
That's a really
While
good
making
question.
the
Yeah.
show, I wish I could have been more present. You know what I mean? I hate to jump in
Yeah.
front of you, Scott, but I got to get to this right away.
Yeah, dive in.
Yeah.
Dive in.
I was so not there, let's say, when we were making that. I was very much worried about being out and about. I was more interested in what came after work than what came with work back when we were making Scrubs. And I wish I could have been more present at when it came to doing my job back then. That's the one thing that I look back and say, you know what? I know I had fun and I know I enjoyed myself. I wish I could have experienced all of that while making it.
Yeah, my reaction is similar in the sense that, I think we took it for granted that this would happen all the time. That is to say that, we've spoken this on other podcasts before, that these really special friendships would be on every job we did. And I think that we've discussed this, how we've all gone on and done these other jobs, and some are successful, some are not. But still, to this day, the bond that we all have, that comes across on the screen, I think it's the reason people really, one of the reasons, of course, the writing first and foremost, but another reason was that the love that you see between these characters was real. You're watching people who genuinely cared as much about each other in real life as they did as the characters did on screen. So I think I took that for granted. I was a young actor. This was my first big job, and I thought, oh, this is what it's always like to be on a set. Everyone loves each other. Everyone wants to hang out on weekends, even after we've worked all these days. And oh my God, the scripts are always hilarious. And it took so many years to be like, oh no, this is a diamond in the rough. Not only the writing staff that Bill assembled was just the dream team. I mean, they've all gone off to be hugely successful on their own right. But also just the bond that the 7 main characters of us had was something I haven't really ever seen again, whether I'm an actor or a director. It's so rare. So that's what I think too. It's a similarity.
Now, Scott's been on 3, in my opinion, 3 very successful shows. I'm interested to hear how
he might not have an answer related to ours, though.
Not to ours, but I'm interested in hearing if it was like that for each one of those successes. You know what I mean? Like Felicity.
I think, just directly answering your question, I think for me looking back, if I had to do it again,
cool.
I would try to relax. I think I was holding on really tight. It was very important to me. I didn't go to college. I didn't want to do anything else. This was my only shot, really. Like, if I wasn't going to be a working actor, I'd be digging holes. I don't know what else I'd do. So I was really uptight and nervous about making sure I got it right and really focused on work. And I think if I had to do it again, I'd take a breather and Be more like Donald.
But not that far. Not that far, Scott. Don't go that far.
But you know what I mean? Like I was young and wanted to be successful and was working towards a goal. But you know, at a certain point, you got to sort of stop and smell the flowers too.
Did you guys all get along on Scandal?
We did. You know, Scandal.
I was hoping to get some clickbait going.
No, man. I was looking for ever since I'd done Scrubs. I was looking for a show that had a similar vibe, a similar friendship, not just in front of the camera but behind it. And I found it on Scandal, and we still keep in touch. I get texts where I have a group text chain. I get multiple things daily. We vacation together.
Could I join that group text? Sure.
If you have something to offer, I'd love to.
I do. You know, I have a long history with Tony Goldman, and
I know you do. Yes.
And I love that man a lot. And he directed a movie I was in called The Last Kiss, and we've stayed friendly over the years. And I just think he's a very, very special human being. I wish he was the real president. I wish he was the real president.
I think we all wish someone else was the real president right now, don't we? Sorry, Jenny, that's not what you asked. That's what you're getting.
You don't have to bring an Australian into our political system.
No, they're in it.
Jenny, do you have another question for any of us?
Yes, I do. Because I want to look out for my fellow Australians, I just want to ask, why do you think Dr. Cox hates Hugh Jackman so much?
You know, this is a question that's been asked so often, and we never answered it. I think we're going to throw it to Bill, but my theory is that Cox, who was such an alpha competitive guy, was jealous because at the time Hugh Jackman, when we were making the show, it was right at the time with Hugh Jackman exploding and becoming a megastar, who was not just your average megastar, he was doing everything. He could sing.
He did everything.
He could sing, he could dance, he could host award shows, he could be an action star, he could be a dramatic star. He was, you know, he was everywhere and he was doing everything and everyone liked him. It wasn't, you know, a lot of stars become polarizing. He wasn't, everybody loved him.
Yo, this dude could host the Tonys and then stab somebody up as Wolverine, man. It was like just 180 after 180.
So I think, Jenny, that's my guess is that Cox was, the character of Cox was jealous of this handsome, you know, muscular man who could do anything and everything, and people just loved him and adored him, and so he was jealous of him. But let's ask Bill, because that's a good ask Bill. Bill, fans have been asking for many years. And now a very nice woman from Australia has asked, and we just have to get the answer. Why does Dr. Cox hate Hugh Jackman so much?
Look, we love Hugh Jackman. When we were trying to come up with who Dr. Cox hated for no reason, I think we thought it was important that we came up with somebody that everybody loved and that could do everything. I mean, who has anything against Hugh Jackman? He's Wolverine, you know, he's in action movies. He's apparently a lovely guy. He's handsome. He's like People Magazine's sexiest person. He can sing. He can dance. You know, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Here's some stories.
Slid that one in. He starred in The Music Man on Broadway and that Peter Allen thing. He's just too damn talented. But my buddy Scott Foley is there. Scott, torture them.
Jenny, I hope that works for you.
Yes.
5, 6, 7, 8.
No! Dan, no!
Yeah, you know what? Most people, only Bill usually gets the song when he says it, but because Scott Foley's so darn charming, Dan hit the button again.
Take that.
He couldn't control himself.
Sick of it.
Let me control my own tiny little universe, please.
Jenny,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you one more question.
Oh, wow, Jenny, you're getting
no
the
pressure.
rare third question.
Yeah. My other question was, what's your proudest moment from being on the show? Your proudest performance?
Oh, wow. I really enjoyed doing the musical theater, the musical episode. I had a lot of fun doing that. Growing up, I did a lot of musical theater, but not at that scope or that level. And a lot of the people that, you know, were in Scrubs, the musical, I saw later on in La La Land or whatever, and that made me feel really good. Like, you know, I danced with some of LA's best dancers and stuff like that, and got to perform with some of LA's best. And you know, as you know, everybody comes here to make it in the industry, and it felt good to be amongst Hollywood's elite dancers and being able to dance with them. I really enjoyed that. I'm very proud that I was able to do that.
Yeah, I think I'm proud of that episode too. And also, I'm really proud of, you know, it was a very underappreciated, I think, but we did this sort of Princess Bride homage episode that was, you know, the fantasies and sort of a medieval thing. And it kind of, it was, I believe it was during the writer's strike season, and the season ended early, and we didn't know if the show was coming back. And it was sort of presented as the season finale and possibly a series finale, because no one knew if they were coming back. And so it kind of got treated like, oh, what does that have to do with Scrubs or ending the show? But I really am proud of the directing work I did on it, and I think it looks really pretty, and it was a huge scale for Scrubs.
Yeah, I was going to say the scope is huge.
Yeah, it was big, and we spent a lot of money, and I think it looked like it, and a lot of people worked very hard on it. And then it sort of got underappreciated because people were like, please tell me that's not the series finale. And I was like, no one meant that was the series finale. But I thought that was good.
Yeah, I loved that episode, I remember.
Thank you, Jenny. All right, we have to move on, but thank you so much for coming on the show. Scott, do you want to say anything to Jenny? Thank you for coming on.
I'd like to thank you for coming on the show too, Jenny. I hope, forgive me for getting into this, but I hope everyone's okay now that you guys had those terrible fires, and we were all sort of thinking about you over on this side of the world. So I'm glad you guys are better.
Yeah, it's been a very difficult year, but yeah, we're all getting there.
Good. Scott's message was nicer than mine, so I would like to say that I hope everything's okay.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
And that's what we call a callback joke, everybody. All right, thank you, Jenny. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
thanks, Jenny.
Thanks so much. Thanks, everyone.
Very sweet.
Very sweet.
Yo, JD is a rat. Hold up, let's get into this. JD is a little bitch. He's a rat. He is a rat. Dude.
That is funny though. When I go and tell on you though, how funny was that fantasy with me on Johnny's lap?
It's very funny, but you
with
are
that blue
a
hat?
rat.
He goes, who's my big? He goes, who's my big boy? I am.
That was great.
I love that. I love that they show you the two sides of, you know, when something bad happens, they show you the two sides. They show you the one that runs right to the principal and is like and cries to the principal, oh my God, and he did this. And then they show the other person who runs to the principal and freaking tells the principal off. Yeah. John C's character, Cox, is the dad that goes to the school and beats up the bully for fucking with his kid. You know what I mean? Beats up the 12-year-old boy for fucking with his son. Oh, you gonna touch my son like that? How about this? Go tell your dad. Go tell your dad that Dr. Cox smacked the shit out of you. And it goes south. But it was very interesting to watch the two dynamics. Like one guy is a complete rat. Yeah. And the other
That's
one.
funny. I didn't even see that interpretation of it, but that's smart. That is exactly what happens. It's the two sides of the coin of how you do it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Why would Turk even promise to side with me? I mean, he's a really good doctor. We know that. He's not going to go not. It's almost ridiculous that he would even say, yeah, don't worry, I'll back you up. He's going to come in and give his honest analysis.
Right. Well, I think Turk was trusting the fact that you had done your job, and you know you were literally calling him in for a favor. Just tell him that he doesn't have anything to worry about. And then when Turk looked at it, he's like, oh, shit. Wait, hold on. Right. I look at it like, you know, if there's a slight chance that Turk gets the opportunity to operate, he's going to say, yeah, I'm going to operate.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think that's a real thing, obviously, taken from, obviously this is all inspired by what we were told by real doctors, that the surgeons are more apt to be like, let's come up.
Yeah, let's get it out. Let's do it.
Let's do our thing. And I love at 12:15 when the janitor is giving my patient advice, and he's like, I'm going to go with surgery. And I go, he's a janitor. And he goes, he seems confident. Again, the guy did not say a sentence that I didn't laugh out loud at.
He was very funny.
How about Sarah all dolled up for Scott Foley at 13:45?
Beautiful. How lucky was I in my stupid big overcoat,
By the way,
weird jacket
why was
outfit?
your jacket 11 sizes too big?
don't know.
Did you not have a fitting? Do you remember? It was like that jacket was
only
three
thing-
sizes too big.
The only thing I could chalk it up to was that was just what people were wearing back then, but it seemed really big.
That was huge, dude.
It was the Armani baggy look back then. Like, I don't know
Wait,
what
do you
that
really
was.
think it was style or just fit wrong? Because you're supposed to be playing this like heartthrob, and there you are. I mean, you should be looking like in a nice outfit.
I have to think it was style, or else someone. I mean, there's no less than 3 people, but maybe 30 people on set who should be like, hey, he looks really stupid in that.
But it must have been the
It
style.
had to be the style. It had
Had to be style.
Because that jacket, it came down to your knees almost, and it
It
wasn't
was
a trench coat,
huge.
dude.
It was like a doctor's smock. It was a monster. Just ridiculous.
Well, I thought Sarah looked beautiful in her all dolled up moment. And then
I think she looked beautiful even after her dolled up moment.
I know, even with the
Yeah.
puke and it was so funny. She's covered with like puke and blood and poop.
Yep. They did a really good job of it, and
That was fun.
it was.
And then
I
you guys
remember
go,
filming
you
that.
guys get into that really funny, awkward poop conversation.
Yeah.
And they cut to Judy. It's so funny because you guys are awkwardly flirting about poop, and then you cut to Judy's deadpan face.
Well, and then right after that, there's a great moment where the nurse has Sarah and Judy are talking. I don't think anybody noticed. It's not a big deal. And then one of the nurses walks by and says, "Hey, Poopy," which I thought was just hilarious.
Paloma.
Yes.
By the way, I'm really noticing it in all these years later that many of Aloma's lines are moving. She's always walking by.
Always on the move. Yeah.
Always on the move.
Always
Hey,
on the
Poopy.
move.
That way you can slaughter into someone else's shot.
But that was very funny too. Your whole conversation on how you took a poop. just
Sure.
now and
Not here, but not here before.
Not here, but before.
Earlier. I was
Down there.
I think we delve into their relationship deeper in other episodes, but I think that's really the foundation for them. Poop is the foundation. It's a house built on poop.
It is, well, the relationship didn't last long, and we know poop is not a solid foundation.
Depends on what you had.
They should not have built their house on a foundation of poop. What about in 1420 when the janitor goes, "Look, I'm just a janitor. I don't know much, but I know that you need surgery."
How did he get in that room? How did he?
Was that the beginning of the speech where at the end of it he grabs the newspaper and goes back into the toilet?
No,
That was genius.
That's before he starts going. Like that's the last moment with my patients. But then
Yes.
we cut around to him going to all of my patients around the entire hospital, telling them they all need surgery. That was hilarious. And Neil's so funny.
I'm having surgery right now.
Oh, that was amazing.
Great. That was great.
I'm having surgery and I'm loving it.
And I'm loving it.
It's a bizarre infomercial
And then
moment.
Donald, when you say you go, "Let's get you out of your
Let's
skin,"
get you out of your skin. Let's cut you out your skin.
that girl did a great job. I'm having surgery right now and loving it.
The writers have always done a good job on this show of finding really subtle, gender-specific moments that there's something that, and I think Bill takes a lot of it from Krista. There's moments where he's like, there was a character at one point in the show, I don't remember what season it was, but a woman talks about chewing on her thumbnail until it bleeds, or the side of her thumb until it bleeds, which is a very specific sort of woman thing. And there was a moment in here where Judy says, I'm not sure there's a cat heaven. Like, I don't tell Turk I sometimes cry because I'm not sure there's a cat heaven. Like, I thought that was a genius, really subtle, gender-specific moment.
By the way,
it
in
really,
the
really
spirit
smart.
of what you're saying, Scott, then they cut to Sarah, and the look on her face is like, "There's no cat heaven."
What do you mean there's no cat heaven?
It's a really
sweet.
It's a really subtle moment, but they cut to Sarah's face as though she's just heard, like for the first time, "There's no cat heaven." Like she just had Santa Claus ruined for her.
I thought it was great, man. I thought it was really smart, and Judy delivered it beautifully. The amount of times I'll run into my wife and be like, "Hey, why are you crying?" She's like, "Never mind," and it's because she's not sure if there's a cat heaven or something ridiculous like that.
At 1721, Sarah bumps into Colonel Doctor, and it was exciting because Colonel Doctor didn't always get a lot of foreground time, but he got a little foreground moment. Coleman's Law.
I didn't even see that. That went completely over my head. I missed that.
Yeah, it's even in the Scrubs Wiki. And what I love about it, we call him Colonel Doctor because that's what we thought his name was, but because it's eventually revealed that his name is Coleman Law, it says in the Scrubs Wiki, like, Sarah bumps into Coleman's Law. The Scrubs Wiki is so accurate that they call Colonel Dr. Coleman's Law.
That's awesome.
For 2035, the patient in bed is Richard Wells.
Yes.
Was our
AD,
very,
right?
Our very,
he was
our
our
best first AD.
First AD and UPM also. He went on to be our UPM later on when Scott Harris and
That's right.
Franklin got better.
We should say for those of you who don't know, a first AD, a first assistant director, is the man or woman who is sort of running the set, making sort of the one calling out, saying, "Okay, here we go, we got to move." Really, think of that in theater like a stage manager, but keeping everyone moving along and sort of the team leader, so the director can ideally focus on the creative aspects of things.
Well, the first AD is usually the bad guy. Let's just put it that way. The first AD is the one that you come through with all the problems. You don't necessarily go to the rest. Yeah.
Well, Richard Wells was so great at his job, and one of the best first ADs I've ever worked with. And I forgot that he did a cameo, and here he is one of my patients that finally says he'll go the medical route solely because the janitor has told him so at the end of the episode.
Also, Richard Wells directed a few episodes of Scrubs. Also, he did a lot on the show. He wasn't just the AD.
Yeah,
he also became.
I was bummed though when he decided to become the UPM and he was no longer on set because.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What is a UPM?
A UPM is a production manager, unit production manager, handling the organization of everything. UPM, if you need a crane, the UPM is the one often calling the rental house and saying, "We need a crane on Tuesday. Who's bringing it? Timmy or John?" The line producer, kind of underneath the line producer, organizing anything and everything, the nuts and bolts of a production. Scott, you switched to heating this year.
Well, I switched to my damn thing's running out of batteries. I can't hear a thing now. But yeah, it's my anniversary, so my wife made me these things, and I gotta eat them before I come out of my closet. Unless she's gonna say like, "Why didn't you eat the cookie I made you?"
Oh,
sorry.
How many
Happy
years?
anniversary.
How many happy anniversary? How many years?
13. Thanks so much. 13 years.
Oh my goodness.
13 years. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Sorry.
That's great.
And I was excited. You know, I thought I could just listen to your explanation of line producer versus UPM, and no one would notice. But I forgot that we were on Zoom.
I'm sure everyone tuned out when I started describing the UPM. All right, listen, we did it. As Howard Stern says, we've said it all. This has been really fun, Scott. Did you have a good time?
I love being here. I love seeing your faces. You know, we haven't had the chance to see too many people recently, so it meant a lot to me, and it has meant a lot to me to be a part of this. Have been a part of this show. I look back fondly on it and consider both of you good friends of mine. So I appreciate you having me on.
Well, we miss you.
Dude, I gotta
thank
tell you.
you.
Yeah, I miss you, man. I gotta tell you. You know, we talk about it all the time. I ran into shit at boating.
Chipper.
Yeah, and I was like, you know, we gotta get together again. This is what I thought. This was back when we thought the pandemic would last about a month and a half.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I'd love to get out and play golf with you again once it's all said and done, man.
Yeah,
We'll find the time to play golf.
And I'd love
You
to
and I
watch
play
you.
tennis.
I'd love to watch you defeat Bill in tennis if possible.
Well, if we'll find out when he's injured, and then we'll go out and play.
Because I can't beat Bill at any sports. I often try and find people that can beat him so I can just watch.
I'm game. Hey, you know, I wanted to talk about, and I don't know if you remember this before we go. You know, Donald and I have had the chance to work together, not just on a bunch of things, but you and I, aside from Scrubs, and this is something I regret very much. After doing, I don't know, however many, 2 or 3 episodes in the first season, you wrote a short film about robots, maybe?
Probably. I love robots.
And you sent me the script, and I was busy doing something else, so I couldn't do it, but I've always regretted not being able to work with you as a director on something you wrote, and that was, that's still something I look back on. I totally remember it. It was a...
I definitely remember that. I vaguely remember it too. I was trying to start directing things because I'd gone to film school and I was doing Scrubs, and it was so amazing. But of course, in my mind as as a young go-getter, was thinking, I got to start making stuff. And I wrote that wacky short, and I asked Christina, so thank you for almost saying yes.
Yeah, I absolutely would have said yes if I wasn't able to. But look, I love both you guys, and we'll hopefully work with you until we die on different things.
I made a really cool short film recently, Scott, that you should check out. It's called In the Time It Takes to Get There. And I guess I've taken this opportunity to give a shout out to that short. So if you're listening to this, check it out. It's got
In the Time It Takes to Get There?
Yeah, it's got Alicia Silverstone, Donald's old co-star. And it's got Florence Pugh, the very exciting young actress, Oscar nominee. And it's really good, and it's on YouTube, and you can go watch it. It was Adobe had this contest where college kids could design a movie poster, and the winning movie poster design using Photoshop, the prize was that I would write and direct a short film inspired by the movie poster.
Oh yes, I saw an article about that. Anytime I see your guys' names in any sort of press, I check it out. And I saw an article about this, so I will definitely check it out.
Go check it out. I recently won a Webby for it, which is a cool web award. But check it out.
Nobody cares.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Everybody could see Donald's face when he says that right now.
I wish
in his
everyone,
closet with his hands on his head.
I wish everyone could see my face right now because I've successfully been made to feel sad.
You're not, but you look like you're sitting underneath.
By the way, I want you to know that I knew everybody listening would be like, "Oh, I can't wait for him to say nobody cares, Sean." I'm the only one in this one. You've said it multiple times. Colin has. I'm the only one who never said those.
Nobody cares, Zach.
Well, the problem is you said them to begin with, and not a day goes by where someone, either personally or on social media, doesn't comment or say nobody. I mean, I could say happy birthday to my lovely wife of 13 years or happy anniversary of 13 years, and I'll get 6 nobody cares Sean's. And it makes me equally happy and fucking irate.
I know. I get it, man. Well, listen, we got Bill was saying 5, 6, 7, 8 on the podcast, and I'd post something on Instagram, and every other comment is 5, 6, 7, 8.
Well, I mean, you texted me, are you ready to come on? And I think I just wrote back, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
And your response was like, yeah, okay, we get it.
Listen, guys, we've gone an hour and a half. This has been amazing. We love the fans. Thank you for listening. We hope we're making you laugh a little in these crazy times. That's our hope. You can email questions to scrubsiheart@gmail.com. Please follow Donald on Instagram. He's very envious of the amount of followers I have.
Dude, you have like 1.3 million followers on Instagram.
Count. Yeah. You guys.
I have 600,002.
Well, listen.
By the way, Scott, I follow you on Instagram. By the way,
thanks, ma'am.
You can follow Scott Foley too, and look at how handsome he is. And that's it. We love you. We'll see you next time. 5, 6,
Here's some stories about a show we made. About a bunch of docs and nurses and a janitor who loved to hate. I said, here's the stories that you all should know. So gather round to hear our, gather round to hear our Scrubs Rewatch show with Zach and Donald.
¿Qué onda, familia? If you're looking for a fun, feel-good listening experience,